Hey, good morning everybody. Ed the Pond Professor here. I'm coming to you from Ohio. Not just Ohio, but Ohio Fish Rescue. I'm here with Big Rich, his son Josh. They have been doing an incredible job over here on the pond, and this is a monster. So we have a lot of work in front of us. They've excavated, they've changed elevations, they built this massive pond because of the amount of koi that he needs to rescue. It's up to 4.5 feet deep. He's got 35,000 gallons of water in this pond. So what I'm coming out to do is to help him with that fine tuning type stuff. I'm here at Ohio Fish Rescue. I gotta go swim.
You gotta swim with the fishes.
Yeah, every time Aquascape does something for us, it's just amazing. It's over the top. It's always more than I expected. Way better than anything I could do on my own.
We're gonna start hooking up the skimmers, and the skimmers, remember, those are really, really important pieces because all the leaf debris. What happens in an aquatic ecosystem, there's multiple factors. Obviously you have the fish you have to take into consideration, but in an outdoor situation, you're gonna get wind-blown debris, you're gonna get lawn clippings. That's all organic matter. It's made through the photosynthetic process. Carbon dioxide gets absorbed out of the atmosphere through the process of photosynthesis. It creates sugars. That sugar actually is a carbohydrate. That's what actually the leaf material is, and that's why animals eat that stuff. But if it falls into a pond, it starts to decompose, bacteria, microorganisms are going to start to break that stuff down, but it's not complete degradation. So what happens is those nutrients get leached back into the water, which feeds an algae bloom. We want to remove that stuff. That's why we're doing skimmers. We actually have 2 skimmers going in. They're going to go in the back corner, and you can see right where Josh and Rich are at right now, that back corner, there's already leaf debris floating around over there because we had a storm that came through last night. So we're going to put the skimmers in that corner because nature tells us exactly the best place. All that wind is going to be pushing that debris into one location. The discharge for those skimmers, one of them is going to go to our wetland filter. They've already excavated that out because they had the heavy equipment here. That's going to help to detoxify the water. That's going to have our snorkel, it's going to have our centipede, that's going to have the layer of aqua blocks and all that different grades of river rock, which is going to become home to all those microorganisms that'll help to further break down all that stuff and detoxify the water to give all the fish that he's going to be putting in here pristine water conditions. So the dimensions on this pond, it's 40 feet long from this point to the other side where Josh is located, and it's 30 feet wide. This is a massive pond. He wanted to maximize the total amount of water for this pond. Now normally when I'm coming in, I'm doing a pond for aesthetics. I'm doing it to create a natural type of an ecosystem. So what Rich has done here is he's maximizing the water to have the highest volume of water so he could store more fish. So he's got a different philosophy. Still has the rock, still has the gravel, different types of aquatic vegetation. So all those pieces are there. So the only big difference is this is a big giant square type of a system. We're going to add in those skimmers, different jets and things like that to increase that overall circulation to make sure that this is going to be perfect for all the fish that he's adding into this pond. So this is the skimmer box itself. There's going to be a faceplate that goes inside of here, created an adjustable skimmer door system. So that means we could adjust the water level up and down. So the whole idea with the skimmer is we're drawing the surface water in off of the pond. This is really important because that's where the debris is going to be located, but it's also where the highest dissolved oxygen is. So we want to draw in high dissolved oxygen water because that's going to send the water over to our wetland filter, and there's a lot of biological activity. We don't want to have a pump located all the way in the bottom of the pond because that's drawing the lowest dissolved oxygen. So we've already located a spot. Josh showed me the spot over on that big rock over there where we want the approximate water level to be. So what I want to do, if I know that that's my maximum level, I'm going to set the top of that rock a little bit lower. So that will allow me the flexibility to raise it up about another inch, inch and a quarter if we need it, really fine tune it to get the perfect draw of water going into the skimmer to maximize debris removal as well as get the necessary circulation that we're looking for. So I have our 2-inch MPT fitting. It's a male pipe thread. So this is a tapered fitting. The whole fitting is actually tapered. So the more you screw it in, tighter and tighter it gets. It creates a really good tight fitting. But the problem with it is if you overdo it, it's almost like putting a wedge into a log. You will break this fitting. This won't crack, it'll pop that, and it will ruin your day because then you got to pull everything apart. So you want to go hand tight and then maybe one turn past that. So we get a little silicone on here. It's going to help lubricate everything. It's also going to create a nice seal for us. That lined up. So this is going to feed our jet circulation. So we have 2 skimmers on here. One of them is going to feed the wetland filtration system. The other one is just here for overall circulation. So by the look of this pond, we have the wetland over there on the top. The waterfall's coming in on that far corner. I'm always thinking about overall circulation. So we want to have the skimmers the exact opposite spot, which is where we have them. Waterfall's going to come in over there. All that water is going to want to go from point A to point B. So what that does though, it's going to leave this spot over here kind of a dead zone. Rich has already placed his pond power head in that location, but we want to increase that. So we're going to actually take a 2-inch pipe, we'll bring it along that edge, and we'll actually probably split it off into multiple smaller pipes just to have that really nice circulation, push all that stuff over here to the middle where it will get caught in the main current of the waterfall, sweep everything over into our skimmers. That way we know that we're turning over everything really, really well. It's going to give us our best water quality.
Yeah, every time Aquascape does something for us, it's just amazing. It's over the top, it's above, always more than I expected. Way better than anything I could do on my own. Always. Happy filmer?
Oh yeah.
We got mud and gunk all over this stuff. We clean off the skimmer face, but we also have to make sure that the liner itself is clean and dry. Otherwise that silicone's not gonna bond to it. If you have a leak in this faceplate, all the water is gonna dribble down, goes underneath the skimmer. Because we have heavy clay here, we're actually creating like a hollow pocket around that skimmer. The skimmer actually pops up out of the ground. Not easy to fix. Take the time, make sure you do all this stuff right. It'll save you hours and hours of frustration in the end. Skimmer number 2. Now a pond of this size, there are different ways of handling it. Skimmers are really, really efficient because you have a nice, quick, easy basket. You can pull that out. Another thing that we'll do on some applications is we'll put in an intake bay. Intake bay is going to give you a little bit more capacity. It's a lot more work. With this elevation change, it would have been difficult. So for this application, these are going to work really well. So we put in the main skimmer weir assembly. So this has got the little door. I will open this up so you can see how that functions. That allows the water in. See how I could raise and lower this opening by 3 inches. We set our water level off of that big rock right around here. I set it kind of in the middle to the high location. This will allow us to maximize that water. And that's key. Any type of an application, we want to try to get as much water in the system as possible. What Rich and Josh are doing, because it's a koi rescue facility, the more water they have, the more fish that they can put in. The higher the volume of water, the more stable it's going to become. From temperature, water chemistry, ammonia, dilution, everything changes when you have a higher volume of water. So by having just a little extra inch of water, doesn't sound like a lot, but on this is 1,200 square feet, 30 by 40. 1 square foot of water 1 inch deep is 0.62 gallons. So when we start talking 1,000 square feet or more, that's 600 plus gallons of water just in that top inch. That's a significant volume of water. So we want to maximize it. So just by fine tuning it, we'll be able to do that for them. And what it's all about for this project is the health and the safety of the fish. So now that we have the first skimmer located in position, what we're going to do, instead of going off of the front like we did in that one rock, we're just going to take a level and go from this corner to that corner to make sure that the 2 skimmers are as close as possible. But again, the nice thing about the adjustable face plates, we can still fine tune it. I just want to try to get them as close as possible. So if we go from point A to point B, we'll probably be within 1/4 inch, and then the slack we can pick up with that adjustable face plate. So we drained out the wetland area, so we got everything cleaned out. Right now what we're going to do next is we're going to come in with another layer of our geotextile fabric. So we want to make sure that we're protecting the rubber liner. So we have that fabric under the liner, we have the rubber liner, we're going to put another layer on top, and that's because we're going to be dumping tons, literally many tons of river rock on top of this. So we want to protect that rubber membrane from any damage. From there, once we start getting that fabric in place, we're going to lay our centipede and snorkel down the bottom. So we're going to fill up that void space with the large river rock. That'll give us a flat space to work off, and then we're going to place our aqua blocks on top of that. Once the aqua blocks are in place, then we'll come in with more layers of the large river rock, and then we'll slowly start to grade our way down to finer and finer river stone. What that's going to do, it's going to give us higher surface area, which is the name of the game when we're talking about biological filtration. We want high surface areas. That's for microbial colonization. So we're right at the beginning stages right now. A lot of things are going to be happening. Fabric, gravel, snorkel, centipede, aqua blocks, more gravel. All right, we're at a good point right now. So we got the snorkel in, the centipede's connected, our piping is connected as well. River rock down on the bottom, holding everything in place, and now we have our layer of small aqua blocks transitioning across the top. The whole key to this entire system is water distribution. Fast moving water comes in, we slow it down, we allow the sedimentation process to occur. That's what's gonna happen inside of these aqua blocks. I will periodically check this once it's operating for several months, just by agitating the gravel surface in various points throughout the wetland filter. You should see clear water flowing up from that agitated point. When that occurs, that means you know you have good water distribution. So what we don't want to have happen, we don't want to get like a hot spot. What I mean by a hot spot is you're going to have a lot of water blasting up in one place, and it kind of creates a bubbling action on the surface. That's channelization, that's bypassing all your biomedia. What I want is I want a nice even distribution of water throughout this entire system. That means I have good water contact with the biomedia. Then from there, it's going to discharge out the end, which is going to be our waterfall. The key to this is dissolved oxygen levels have to be right. There's going to be a dissolved oxygen drop as the water flows through the biomedia. That's why we have a waterfall in the outfall. That's going to help to re-oxygenate the waters. When we combine that with the different circulation jets that we have in here, we're going to be churning all that stuff up, and that's going to give us the desired water quality. So our next step right now, come in with more large river rock to layer across over this entire system. Then we're going to come in with smaller gravel in 8-inch lifts. Once we do that, we get better and better filtration. As we come up to the surface, the top layer is going to be the smallest gravel, and that's going to be for the planting medium. So this skimmer on this side is going to be for the circulation jets. You can see there are two discharge points here. This one is going to be for the pump. The water is going to get drawn in through the skimmer. It's going to be discharged all the way at that far other end. I'm going to cut a trench through the soil. We're also going to make a watertight. The other discharge point over here, that's going to be for the overflow. You can see the size of the pond. You could also see the big giant roof that's above us. So that roof is going to dump a lot of water inside of this pond. We want to make sure that we can handle it, and we don't want to have any erosion issues. So that's going to get a pipe connected to it. It's going to take it down into the drainage area down in the back of the property. All right, Rich, so here's what we have. We have our 2-inch line coming over from the skimmer. We're gonna do the bulkhead fitting going through the liner. We're gonna put in some seaming tape or cover tape just to stiffen up the liner a little bit. Once we penetrate through, we're gonna have 3 2-inch tees. So one here, and one here. That's gonna split our 2-inch line, and then we're gonna reduce down to 4 discharge points. Over here, we'll need 90s on the end, and then these are gonna go down to 1 inch. So all that water is just gonna kind of blast out, you know, in between those rocks. So you're not going to see the pipe or the jets. We'll have all that piping run behind the boulders, and then it's just going to get that push of water going out here towards the middle until the skimmers could take care of everything. We trenched in our pipe, exposed the area where we're going to be working. My next step is to put a couple pieces of the cover tape on top of the liner. The reason I'm doing that, the bulkhead fittings, when you just go right through the rubber liner, when you're tightening the nut, sometimes it grabs the liner and it twists it. So that could cause like a little ripple, and it causes a potential leak. So I'm going to use that cover tape, and it's going to stiffen up the liner a lot. This connection is below the water line, so I want to make sure it's watertight. Once that's installed, then I'll be able to glue on another section of pipe to go off in the different directions to make all of my appropriate connections for the jets. It has been another incredible journey out here at Ohio Fish Rescue. Love working with Big Rich, Josh, Rich Jr. We've had an incredible time. We got those skimmers dug.
In all, we're probably at around 300 yards of dirt.
Wow. Well, yeah, the severe slope on here, this is an engineering feat. I mean, you had to bring in a lot of soil to hold all this stuff in place. I wish I could stay out here longer and help you guys finish stuff up. I was only here for, you know, a day and a half. We got the skimmer in, we got the jets in, we ran the piping, we hooked up the overflow, we got the wetland filters all set up. But I also want to take time because, hey, I'm here at Ohio Fish Rescue. I gotta go swimming.
You gotta swim with the fishes.
Just for you guys, I fed them last night so that they're nice and full, so you're not gonna get nipped.
No missing toes, I promise.
Maybe you shouldn't have fed them.
Enjoy your previous build.
Yeah, actually, that's totally what I'm gonna do. I want to dive down. I want to see the wetland and see how it's working. I mean, from above, that thing it looks spotless.
We're using your filter in the bottom of that pool, which is way too much filtration. We run all that water out of the pool, we pump into the fish room, running through all of our tanks and through our original filter, and then back to the pool.
Oh my gosh.
So your filter is now helping our filter filter all 100 and some thousand gallons.
That is totally cool.
Yeah.
That's really good to hear. It's been a good time as always. Look forward to the next time. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for the next one where I go swimming with all the monster fish.